Hi Year 11s, just some quick information regarding this week while we're in lockdown. I would like you to start your design folio for your major project. So to get started, open up a PowerPoint, select a theme that you can apply for the entire document, and I'd like you to set out 16 pages that you can come through and narrate with each of the following. So number 1 will be your title page. Come through, pop on there, stage 1 material solutions, assessment task 2, part 1 design folio, then keep on working through the rest of these. I've got more information for you under our task tab where you can actually find the assessment. The assessment looks like this, it's all in purple. There are 4 main criteria. We're going to start with number 5. So number 5 is where you're saying your design brief, which is your project proposal. So this is all the functional stuff that you want your major project to be able to do. So if you're someone that's wanting a bedside table, you might say that you want it to be able to have a drawer or some provision to be able to charge an electronic device while it's there next to your bed. You might even put things like what type of handle you want to have on there, if you want to have metal feet that screw on the bottom or wheels. All of those desired functions you need to be able to list. The other things that you can include in your design brief are things like aesthetics. So that would be the particular way that it looks, whether it's got an Art Deco look, whether it's got a French colonial kind of look, whether it's got a very modern contemporary type of look. It's up to you what do you actually want yours to look like, but you need to mention that in your design brief. Other things you can mention if you're particularly going to be coming through and making a desk might be ergonomics. For instance, if you've got a large stool in your room and you want to have a desk that is slightly higher than the norm, you could definitely mention ergonomics so that it's safe to sit up for a long time. Other things you can mention are finishing solutions. So that's the stuff that you apply to it at the end, like a clear lacquer if you're wanting to paint the thing white, if you're wanting to apply a whole heap of decals on top. All of those things, they go in your design brief. On the next slide, I would like you to work on your constraints, and that is anything that is going to be limiting you while you're coming through and making your major project, or limiting you with how you get it home, or limiting you with the space that it's going to be stored at or in use when you do actually get it home. So if you're designing something to go underneath your bedroom window and you've got it so that you want to have things that are plugged in to a power point that's at a certain point under your window, you need to think about the sizes of the width and the height as well as the depth that need to go there. Other constraints are budget. Okay, the school pitches in $15. However, anything kind of large that you're wanting, you might need to then pitch in a little bit more, and budget could definitely be a constraint for you. Other things that are constraining, maybe your skill level, and whether or not you've actually produced something before that's a similar kind of construction, or if this is going to be a first time, it could potentially take you longer. The last thing that I would like you to work on is the product investigations. So you need at least 6 existing designs that are similar in function to what you're wanting to make. So I'm going to show you an example of what I'm looking for. This is a Year 12's work from a couple of years ago. They were a solid B grade student. So if you did something similar to this, you would probably get an A grade for your work this year. So they have their title page. They've got on there their SACE ID number. We've got the table of contents page, which lists on every page what is going to be on there. Then they've got their design brief and their project proposal. Okay, so this person wants to come through and make a desk. They want it to be able to hold textbooks. They want it to look nice. They want it to have a grey and white aesthetic. They need it to fit in a desired space within their bedroom, so they need to measure it. They also want it to fit inside their car so that they can take it home. I think, recalling on that student, they had a small hatchback, so they designed it so that it actually fitted on the back seat when it was reclined down. Constraints, so this person's come through and mentioned that they've got 8 weeks to complete it. You have around about 5 to 6, and then probably a week of applying your surface finish and lacquer. So this is a really nice example of what your product investigations need to look like. We've got a picture. It's not a very large one, but it shows a type of desk. Up the top here, they've got referenced where they got it from, and then later on in the document, they've got a reference page that shows you more information. They've then got these subheadings. So design and criteria headings that are met, aesthetic, style, ergonomic, size, budget. They've said the positives and the benefits of the design, so it's modern, it's got a spacious top. The negatives and disadvantages are there is no shelf or drawers, which is what this student wanted, and it's got very minimal storage. The last column that I'd like you to include with yours is elements of the design you are intending to incorporate. So this student said one side of the storage squares. So you are welcome to lay it out horizontally. I'm just going to flick back to the task sheet where I've got the similar kind of outline, but it's done vertically. So this is for the Year 10 desktop storage unit. It's got the Harvard referencing. It's got the same headings, design brief and constraining requirements, tick, 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 positives, benefits, and some details on, yes, how it is good, negatives or disadvantages, the parts that are not really desirable on that design, and then what parts that you're intending to use on your project. I will use the handle shape on my project. So you don't have to go into a lot of detail. You've only got 350 words maximum, so if you can keep this to dot points, that is really good because it'll keep your overall word count down. So flicking back to this one, just going to scroll right down to the end just to show you the very last page. There we go. So this person's got all of their references. They've got where they accessed all of their photos for their product investigations and the date that it was accessed as well. So as you're coming through and you're getting images of similar products to what you're thinking of making, please also copy down the URL and also note the date that you're actually referencing it. Now, if you guys need any help at all, flick me through a message on Daymap. I'll be answering messages through normal school hours, so from about 9 till just after 3. Alrighty, stay safe, have fun.